Oh, really?
Oh, good. We're live.
There's no countdown on this new one.
No,
we're
no
just
countdown this time.
we're just
Let's be honest.
diving into it.
Let's be
Are we
honest.
even live?
9:06 p.m. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. But
Never mind
if they knew that we've been here for 35 minutes trying to get this to work.
I think they do, because didn't you promote the fact that we were going to come on at 8:30?
But they just probably thought we're doing what we always do, or we're late. But they don't know the heartache that comes.
Adam says live and loud. That's the name of our first album.
That's right. It is. So is everybody? Oh my gosh, there's so many people in comments already.
They've been waiting patiently.
I know.
People are excited to talk about Purdue football. Am I right?
That's right.
Yay!
That's why we're here. That is absolutely why we're here.
I thought about setting up a timer to talk about football for no more than 15 minutes, 12 minutes.
We go football first to get it out of the way.
Oh, hell yes. Hell yes.
All right.
Hell yes. We're not going to get back to it if we don't talk about it.
To give everybody an idea, this glass was full of bourbon when we started trying.
That's true. Listen, Zachary Young. You're not the one I was looking for. Nathan Dolenk?
Dolence.
Is there an E missing there? Anyway, he's talking about Jacobson. No, we're not talking about that yet. Not talking about that yet. It's still football season.
Brock says give it 2 minutes. Football
Okay,
gets 2
120 seconds on the clock and go.
And it's like a lightning round. I don't know.
Here, let me react to one thing. There are people going around saying that not only should Walters be fired, but Babinski should be fired too. I think that premise is asinine. I'm just going to say that right away. Babinski should not be fired. Walters now is officially, to me, I think it's okay to start talking about coaching.
You crossed the Rubicon.
This is what I was waiting for. I was waiting for the Northwestern game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I promised everybody I'd talk about coaching candidates. I can do that real quickly rather than digging deeply into the game. If you guys are okay.
I mean, like one big thing though, because you both gave your thoughts, on the game. I wasn't able to because I was.
Oh yeah. Why don't you do that?
I did a post game, and then BDowd did an addendum because apparently mine wasn't good enough.
This is the post game. It's fine.
It was fast. It was like a real quick cast.
Exactly.
Mine. It was 14 minutes long.
Yours was under.
You had somewhere to be.
45 minutes. It's great.
I had to go to a wedding. Weird Sunday afternoon wedding.
But you were dressed up very snazzily.
Yeah. I got made fun of by my older brother because I was underdressed. So just thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You were overdressed for the
for a quick cast.
Quick cast. I mean, like that. No doubt. In reality, what else matters?
So, Aneesh, what are your thoughts on Purdue football? Please tell us.
It was
the best of times.
Man,
it's the worst of
times. Even so, we were talking about. So the thing that I talked about is that I don't like being in the purgatory. I don't like being in the middle and not really knowing. Mm-hmm. We were setting up for a win that would have been the exact perfect purgatory win.
Right.
You don't really know if it was an improvement, and because it was like. Again, the first half you went down instantly 14-0 or whatever. Like you gave up instant 7 points. Another first quarter that was completely limp.
They've not played a good first quarter yet.
No. I mean, like against FBS teams.
Oh well. Yeah.
But like and then again going into halftime and the way that they the second half played well, but again that wasn't really until let's say about a minute 45, like you said, J Money. It was like you look down, you look back up, and they were kicking the ball off again or punting the ball away again, and it was like
that was incredible,
impossible. My big thing is that first of all, I was fine with the overtime decision to go for it. It's a little bit nuts, and
it's absolutely nuts.
It shouldn't be because of the kicking decision, but it should just be because life is meaningless and our season is meaningless. And you should have what Walter should have been like is that
if you have no chance of winning if you don't make that. That's the thing.
In this era, it's also awareness. As I said, they'd only given up 3 points. Since the middle of the second quarter. It's situational. 3 points there is not ideal. I agree, but it might be enough to win.
You also made a great point right before that. If you knew you were going to go for it, you've got to call a better play on third down, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the experienced play caller that's not there, right?
Yeah.
To me, I'm fine with it. If he would have said like, "Hey, we are 1-6,
Right.
and we're playing in overtime, and we're
But
playing."
you heard the reason why he said he didn't go for it, right?
Yeah, I don't know how much he was.
That's really bad. That's really damning.
I thought the same thing. To say that in the press conference, like I thought it was more likely that we'd convert a 4th and 6 than we could make a field goal.
Yeah, or just say, "Hey, we're going for the win." Yeah. Like and that's fine. Now, it wouldn't have won anyway because 2 plays later the game was over, so that's there. But my big thing is like at least now it seems like, barring an upset at Ohio State, that might be the most unlikely upset in the history of college football. It looks like we know where we're going, and to me, that is at least a little bit, like it's not purgatory.
All I ask for now, I want to ruin IU's season. How delicious would that be?
That's the absolute. That's everything to play for. Yeah,
I think Purdue has the same odds of ruining IU's season as I do of beating U2 in a game of 21. U2 versus me.
Oh, 2-on-1. I thought 1-on-1. I think you could beat me.
Because if I start hitting threes, maybe I could get some points on the board. I still don't think it's going to last for a game of 21. Right? I may get a couple shots at it.
I don't play anymore. The last time this came up, you said, "I'll go for shooting contest. I won't even warm up," I believe is what you said in our group chat.
Yeah.
Very, very cocky that day.
No, I'm so bad at sports now. Everything's gone away.
A shot blocking contest with Aneesh. How about that? Is that a better
yeah, that'll be fun. That'll work.
It's fun.
I mean, like as far as
I don't know what you're, for you like it, but I enjoy it. I enjoyed it when we were playing.
Yeah. Oh no, I enjoyed playing. I just didn't like getting.
I think you dented the wall, didn't you? That's from what I heard.
He's got the little pads up on the wall.
Oh, so it protected the wall.
Yeah, so it protects the wall.
By the
so
way,
no walls were harmed in the.
Handel Jones says, "Aneesh, be definitive, bro. Say it with your chest. Walt should be fired."
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
he doesn't like to say it out loud.
No, because it's like, dang,
because it feels shitty.
Exactly.
I agree.
It's just a huge disappointment. It's not a disappointment in him. And that's the other thing. Like, I think, BDowd, you were talking about, like, people are mad because they believed. And so they're taking it out on the guy. You know what I mean? They're taking it out on Babinski. They're taking it out on Tiffany Grimes. They're taking it out on Walters. And it's like, no, there was reason to, like, meaning is like, believing is okay.
Nobody's been helping themselves. Let's be real honest.
No,
whether it's Grimes or Babinski or Walters, no one has been helping themselves.
Or the fans rage tweeting right now as well, and kind of going into rumors. It just sucks that this didn't work. We all really wanted it to work. We all really wanted Walters to be the guy, and it just didn't work. So to me, yeah, I mean, like, we know where we're going at the end of the year. To me, and if it does, so if the year doesn't end in a coaching change with Walters being fired, it really has to cut. Like, the problem is, like, that he's on thin ice, right? And so even if you're hiring,
recruiting, it's terrible for a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, you can't.
Then next year's under a cloud the entire time, because if you start 0-3 or something, it's like, well, do you do it now?
It's a wasted year. It's
right?
A wasted
right.
Year.
Then you're sacrificing another year, but you're almost sacrificing another year anyway, because if you hire someone new, there's always that clock starts, and it's not like you're expecting them to come out of the gate and do what Signetti's done. Although
that's sunk cost anyway. You know what I mean?
But it can be done in the modern college football game. That's what's been proven. Not just this year. This has been proven over the years. Like, even Jeff Brom, he came in taking over a Hazel team and went to a bowl game. So that kind of stuff can be done. It can be done. Nobody's saying they're going to be 9-0 to start this year next year. Now, that is nice to know that's possible. And that's the other thing. I know we usually spend a few minutes on other teams, and we'll get to Nebraska. Don't worry. But IU football, man, IU football being 9-0, I don't know about you guys. Like, none of us want them to succeed. I think we can agree there that we'd rather see them lose. But I think you said it, BDowd, that you were like, for the 12 actual Indiana football fans, you were happy for them. Like, there's a weird part of you that's like, I kind of am. I'm genuinely envious. Like, you're getting to experience something that is a fever dream. Like, it's so. I can't imagine. They're going
to be 10-0 this week. They're going to be 10-0 this week.
Who do they play this week?
Michigan. They're going to beat Michigan.
Yeah, at home they'll beat them. I agree. wasn't sure at the beginning of the year, but now I do think they'll beat them at home.
They'll be favored. I don't know. They're probably favored.
They'll be favored.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess all I'm saying is that's the closest I'll come to a compliment for IU is I get it. I can't imagine going through this. I can't imagine what it feels like for your football team. You know why I can't imagine it? Because it's never happened.
Right, exactly.
It's like we used to joke about going to the Final Four. We're like, I know it's theoretically possible. It's allowed, but I've never seen it. Now I have, though, Aneesh, because did you know that Purdue went to the Final Four in 2024?
I'm sorry, my internet has been acting really crazy tonight. And it's all of that. Can you say that again?
I believe Purdue went and was a national finalist in April, just a mere 7 months ago.
National finalist. They should make a banner that says that.
Is it time? Is it time to move over? Is it time to move over to basketball? That feels like a good transition.
Can I read my? I think I promised to talk about my coaching.
We've got.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So it's like again.
It's only been 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. If they are, if a coaching change is made at the end of the year, so let's do the first thing. Not Caleb first, but like the first job on the market thing. I think you had a great point, which is like Purdue becomes the safety school. Being first on the market really matters when you're Florida. You know what I mean? It really matters when you're one of those like big schools. When you're a middle of the road or a smaller program, like in the Power 2 or whatever, like it doesn't matter. Like Babinski, if he's made up his mind already, he has already started, putting out feelers.
Back channeling.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Right.
And at the very communications.
This is what search firms are for, right? Mm-hmm. Not just the Boiled Sports.
Not just ours.
Yeah, exactly. But the other ones. And so it is just for like reaching out to people, seeing if they'd be interesting, seeing if they'd be willing to interview. It doesn't let Walters coach out the year, and it is what it is. Like that's just it. Do either of you, before we go into candidates, without a win at or against, let's say, Michigan State or Indiana, but it's Michigan State really, is there a way that you could justify or is there a way that you would be happy, let's phrase it this way, if the athletic directors said he is coming back, he is getting another year?
Is there a scenario where you'd find it acceptable, is what you're saying? Is there any scenario you're saying short of winning one of these bigger games? I mean, maybe, but even if you did, I don't know how you undo this. I don't know how you get it where it feels like it's on track. If you won out and there was a semblance of
won out, I mean,
well, I'm saying,
would you think is there any scenario in which you'd think anything other of some bizarre fluke of them beating any of the remaining teams?
No. Right. I mean, even Michigan State, I don't see how the team is they're not prepared. They're poorly coached. And I'll go back to what we've said all year. I don't blame the players. I don't look at this team and think these guys they're dogging it. I don't see that. I don't see it.
And,
I see it.
I mean, again, the baffling thing is that the team didn't look like this last year. Like it didn't, They didn't look like this, especially at the end of last year. They did not look like this. And so it is just like, who knows? Like it's just it's a bummer. And so I also think that it has just gotten to the point where, again, it's like this is a thing that I've been like repeating over and over. Like it is, I hate only giving 2 years. I think that I am kind of like completely opposed to it. I think that is not the right way to run a program. You have to give them more than 2 years to do this, assuming they don't go below a certain floor, right? And that floor isn't just the wins and losses. Like we are like Purdue basketball can be judged on wins and losses. Purdue football is really about like, are you competitive and are you fiery and are you like, do you look like you belong on the field?
Are you giving people hope?
And yet for the entirety of this year, outside of the Indiana State game, outside of what 3 halves, that's really
not
all
even
it's
3
been.
halves. 2 halves. They weren't good in the first half against this weekend either.
No,
it was down 17-3 late in the first half. They scored going into halftime.
Yeah.
Okay, so they had 10 points. By the way, Adam makes a point, if you scroll back up a little bit, the fact that the stadium has been full week in and week out is proof that the fan base wanted this to work out. That's a great point.
Yeah.
It's a great point that the fans are still there because this has been enough that I would say all of us were concerned with the idea that we thought November it would empty out. And I think one thing I do think you could say is a lot of people looked at it like BDowd did, where they thought Northwestern might be the last good shot, last good weekend of weather, last good shot at a win.
Right.
I think the Penn State game will probably be, I think it'll be a lot of Penn State fans. Some will be in my seats. But the risk is you lose everybody, and we know what that looks like. And
there are so many sunk costs next year. And that's the other thing, is that if you bring the coaching staff, or even if you bring Walters and revamp the staff, there are actually, so if we're doing this, the Walters has connections with people. So if we were doing it from the perspective of like, who would, like, if he were to stay, but revamp the offensive and defensive coordinators, people like Seth Luttrell, who was at Oklahoma, him and Walters coached together at Oklahoma, at Arizona. And then, like, on the offensive side and on the defensive side, actually Mike Stoops worked with Walters, and he is only the inside linebackers coach at his brother's program at Kentucky. So, like, these are the kind of people that you would need to get, and these are the people that you're assuming like Walters enough to take that gig. And if Walters gets fired halfway through, they become the coach in wait, or not even coach in waiting. But again, even thinking about that scenario, it's such a poisonous.
Sounds awful.
Yeah, it sounds awful. And the thing that I keep asking, I'll ask everybody in the margins, everybody who's listening to this on delay, and both of you guys, is give me a scenario where this has worked, not at like a major program where you went out and you got just absolute whales, right? I just can't find the scenario.
Yeah.
What where you do the whole, like, one more year, I'll give you another chance.
Give you another chance.
Right,
but you're gonna hire a guy that we approve at offensive and defensive coordinator, right? I think it undermines the whole thing. Like what Babinski did at first is probably the right way to hire, but he didn't give any frame, he didn't give any parameters. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. I think allowing a guy to go ahead and do his staff thing is the right thing, but that's the whole problem.
That's the thing. It just didn't work. And like, we can go back and analyze things, and we've still got a month to do this, but we can go back and analyze every decision and all of this. And it probably was a hubris-driven oversight to not have an experienced coach on the staff at all. The most experienced person being Graham Harrell. But like, it just didn't work. And it's a bummer. And I know that it's so stupid why I began this on the fact that this felt like a purgatory win was that it feels also really dumb to hinge all of this on, well, if we would have gone for it or if we would have kicked and stopped them.
It's not just that though, is it? I mean, like, let's be honest. It's not just
those
that.
kinds of decisions repeatedly being made, showing that he's not there.
It was the way that the team looked. That was an injured, limping, not very good Northwestern team.
Yes, a bad Northwestern team that's
Purdue
beaten
had
up
at home in desperation mode. It's like, it was everything that you needed to see a rocket ship boost.
Let's think about something. Let's do it. Hey, I like what you just said, Aneesh, but think about last year when Purdue played IU in the bucket.
That's it.
What Tom Allen's team looked like.
I was talking about like Purdue's team, but yeah, you're right. Like,
but yeah, look at that. Look at what Purdue looked like a year ago, but also look at what Tom Allen's team played like in that situation.
When they knew his job was on the line.
They knew his job was on the line. And I think maybe
played okay for 3 quarters.
It's possible that the players don't think his job's on the line. It's possible. But boy, there are a lot of, it's not even whispers. It's yells on social media. And I know these guys don't have a no social media ban like Painter used to do. That doesn't happen anymore. So they see and hear stuff. It's not from level-headed, like-minded, people like us who are like trying to hold back and not say everything we're thinking. Or the people, I'm going to say, there's a lot of sensible people in this margin. I'm positive there are some that are not sensible though as well. But I think the players had a pretty good idea that he really needed the win, and they really needed the win.
Yeah.
I mean, and then we get that. This is what Handel talked about, the idea that they didn't come out ready to compete again.
Right.
Again, you're playing a lousy team and you're not ready to punch somebody in the mouth.
That's it.
You're
to me, I wanted
waiting
to
for
see,
the game to come to you, I guess. I don't know.
and it may have been unreasonable based on the season that we've seen so far, because what would make you think this? But I wanted to see a blowout. I wanted to see, or at the very least, of manhandling. You know what I mean? I wanted to see Purdue take control of a game. And even if they would have won, at no point was Purdue in control of the game. It's that one, the fourth quarter touchdown drive was really good. Like, that was really nice. The touchdown drive at the end of the half, that was
that was
really
awesome.
insane.
I think it's my favorite drive of the season, right? Because it was like a real drive. They looked like they had some, like they knew who they were for one drive.
Exactly. And it's like, that
was wild.
Thing. That's the thing. It tells me that, man, again, like, there are good coaches on this staff. Walters is going to go on to
but they're young, good coaches.
Exactly. There are good players on this staff, and you can see them gelling for these moments. But when you can't put it together for the whole game, that's kind of why I was like, I don't mind going for the win, because screw it. Why not? But he didn't approach it that way. He didn't reflect on it that way. The play call wasn't great, and then 2 plays later, or it's like we're going for the win and we believe in our defense. And it's okay, but like then two.
Because why wouldn't we?
But at the very least, be confident.
We played a good half of football on defense.
Guys,
so.
with the games that are left, I gotta believe this is going to be a record-setting bad defense,
brutal.
right?
I mean, it's brutal. Yeah,
it's already on track for that, and you're going to get blown out at least 3 more times, right?
Yeah, those 3 games. Yeah,
maybe
Michigan
all 4.
State becomes the only one, but even then,
Michigan State looked awfully good for a half.
They're still.
I mean, sure, that third quarter was death, but
yeah, they're in year 1, and so who knows?
And they're getting better. I'd say Michigan State's doing what a first-year coach that you're like, okay, looks good. They're kind of doing what Purdue did last year.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Like they're kind of doing what Purdue did a year ago, and that's the kind of baffling part of this, and it's a bummer. Okay, so coaching list time.
Okay, I've adjusted a little bit. I'm going to
just a tease.
There's a lot more to come.
Yeah, we're not going to, and people can disagree with all this, all they want. I don't think I did anything that's ridiculously stupid, but I do think there are 2 swings on here that I think you could say we're going to have a hard time getting these 2. But if you don't have 1 or 2 of those, what the hell are you doing?
What's the point of a list, man? You're
talking to me, the exactly. Listman. Right, exactly. So my number 1 though is Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator at Ohio State, former head coach at UCLA. It's my number 1 choice. And the reason I like him is I know Justin doesn't like this, but I like offense.
I hate offense.
You've always hated offense. Exactly. There we go. So I hope Aneesh can still hear us, but he's gone for a minute.
It's just me, apparently.
Just you, an audience of 1. I don't know if anyone can. Oh, he's back. Okay.
There we go.
So Chip Kelly's my number 1. And I'm just saying, use those back channels of communication. Just see if he'll listen. Just see if it wasn't a problem with UCLA.
As much AJs as he wants after the game.
All the AJs. I mean, we know a guy that can help make that happen.
I mean, look at him. He looks like he'd love it there.
By the way, I see some people. I ran into Boilerman walking out of the Ross Aid this over there in the margin. So I remember. Okay. So, all right. My second guy, Jamie Chadwell at Liberty. He's getting paid a lot. Liberty is willing to pay. His buyout is decent. But he is one of the best up and coming coaches there are. Full stop. He's probably going to go to an SEC team next year. I'm aware of this. Okay. My number 3.
North Carolina. If it
my number 3. And I know a lot of people have a problem with this, but Dan Mullen, I will still keep this up there because he's a guy who's offensively minded. He has a record of decent success, and you're not going to get another name like him. Would it be another Fred Akers? Maybe. I don't know, but he seems like a pretty decent hire. So that's 3. Number 4, Rhett Lashley at SMU. This is kind of the guy who's hot right now, doing big damn things with not a ton of resources. I know that there's some oil money at SMU, but still, this is not a top tier program that is beating good teams. And then finally, Ryan Silverfield at Memphis. There's my top 5. And I've got more, but I promised to talk about my top 5. And I think, is that too little, or you guys?
I love the Memphis. I love Silverfield. I think it's
a good one, and I wonder if he also would wait on a kind of different or a bigger job, or if you just kind of leap at the first chance to get in. And I think the larger these conferences get, the more that we'll see like we see SEC teams poaching from other SEC teams, and we rarely see that in the Big Ten. But as the Big Ten becomes, as all matters sorts into either Big Ten or SEC. I think we'll see more kind of teams poaching, and so maybe kind of going to Purdue and then jumping to a different school if that is what he wants to do.
By the way, Jason Candle's my sixth coach.
Claude Plumley. There.
Claude Plumley mentions him, and you guys know I've liked Candle. I've been writing at Candle for our site for multiple coaching hires.
Never had a losing season. He's a big history guy.
But my worry there is I guess it's the Hazel experience where I'm like, you bring him back.
What's the big difference, Jay? You know what it is. What's the big difference?
He's got to recruit in the Big Ten.
Well, no, my big thing is no. What's the big difference with Hazel? He's actually built a program and
Candle's got this documented history of winning.
I mean, his resume is so much stronger than Hazel.
Absolutely, I would be excited if they hired him. I'm not saying I wouldn't,
but you know what? I don't know if the average fan would be. That's kind of the problem.
Well, people mentioning it over here makes it. I think people know Candle's a good hire. I don't think it's flashy. It's not splashy. It's not like when they brought
flashy or splashy, Jay. Right? Neither one.
Well, it's not like the hottest, like offensive guy that he's a guy who steadily wins games, and he would probably your program would not be an embarrassment, but I don't think he's going to start 9-0. But you never know. You never know.
I don't care about 9-0. I'll be real honest. I want the long haul.
Yeah, I agree.
I really don't care about 9-0.
To me, we'll get into this. We'll get into picking apart these candidates. I've got a couple more, but I think it does.
He's got a very good list for everyone out there. You already know. If you've ever listened
you know, it's always at the ready. I've only now stopped doing my painter list. I don't have that list going. I haven't updated that one in several
because it's going to be PJ Thompson.
Yes. Oh yeah. There's a list of one right there. In 15 years, when Painter just gets tired of winning titles. But I think you have the up and coming offensive guy. You have so the archetypes would be the up and coming offensive guy, and I think we're naming only people with head coaching experience.
I am.
Yeah, exactly. You can go with the peer programs, try to poach a peer program, or you can do the retread route. Right, and you can try to see
Dan Mullen and Chip Kelly.
That would work. Dan Mullen, Chip Kelly, and so I think a lot of these end up being sorted into those three categories. Recruiting, bringing your bringing a staff that together pretty quickly, winning the transfer portal. I think all of these are things that you have to look at. But it's just I didn't want none of us wanted to talk about this the first week of November, but no. It is what it is.
So, that's I think that whets everybody's appetite. I think we've given enough time to football. Does everybody agree? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Can I give you one guy who is not a head coach?
Can
I give you one guy who's not a head coach who I would consider?
Sure.
Derek Dooley.
He's been a head coach, amazingly. Garrett Riley, Lincoln Riley's little brother.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, there are
with the right staff.
This is the problem, though, Jay. Right? Not Jay.
What?
Right,
you don't like offense?
I don't like going through the experiment of building a staff again. I think it's my biggest issue. I think the reason Signetti has worked so well is he brought his staff.
He brought an established, functional staff and players. Yes,
and players. So as much as you can get, if you want to look at Aneesh, you're talking about offense, head coach. And then a guy that's able to plug and play. He knows his system. He's been doing it long enough that he has an identity as a coach where he can say, these are my guys. They're coming with me. And then maybe a couple of my players are good enough to come up to you look over here. Great question about, would you rather pull from the MAC, the AAC, the Sun Belt, Con USA? For me, Con USA is probably the place I'd most rather do it out of that group. Maybe Sun Belt is second.
Yeah.
MAC, I've got bad juju, and I don't know.
They're good.
What'd you say?
I don't think the Sun Belt's very good. I
think there's. So here, I did this. If you go with the very elite, if you go very elite in these conferences, you're gonna get a good result.
Sure.
Right? And if you go guys that have, you can't just say, okay, flash in the pan, who's done it for 1 year and is red. I don't want that. I want a guy that's done this for multiple years, and that's why that candle idea is such a good one. Right.
Mm-hmm. That's a good safe hire.
How about this one? How about Lincoln Riley if he gets fired? Would you guys be okay with that? Because I hear that might happen, and I don't know if you guys would be up for it, but I'd take him.
Oh my goodness,
it'd be hilarious.
It would be absolutely the funniest.
Talk about Big Ten teams poaching from each other.
How about
way,
Jay? How about this one? And this was in the comments today in one of our post games, yours or mine. Okay. How about Matt Rule? Let's pretend in some weird world that Matt Rule does the same thing and he keeps pooping the bed every time they have a chance to close out a bowl. And Nebraska says, enough. We're going to go get Bo Pelini. We're just having fun with this. All right.
Don't worry. I think Matt Rule's going to bounce for Penn State when James Franklin takes whatever job.
I'll tell you what, he will not bounce for Penn State if things keep going this way. This is the thing. The bloom comes off the rose of coaches pretty quickly. And if you can't close out that ability to get in the bowl game, like Aneesh, we were talking about this behind closed doors. This is great. This is much better than just current football talk, by the way. I love this. Aneesh says, it's always great when our coaching list guys are on hot seats. And I've removed 2 or 3, you'll note.
Correct. Yep. They're on hot seats. They're not there anymore.
They're not there anymore. We're not going. We can't do that. You cannot afford to do it.
We're not going back, many would say. Right. There are many candidates. We will.
Would you take Ryan Day?
Yes. James Front says Ryan Day may be available at the end of the season. I will also take him. He would be acceptable.
I'm telling you, though, it's going to be future Auburn head coach James Franklin. James Franklin's bouncing this year. He's done.
No way. No way. Nobody wants his ass.
Oh, nobody wants him. He is.
You are.
And the only person who wants James Franklin is you and Penn State.
No.
Yeah, you're such a closet Franklin apologist.
It's the propaganda machine. I don't think that he has any. I'm done with him. I don't think he has any substance or minimal substance behind him. An SEC team would absolutely.
No way. No way.
It's too expensive now too. His buyout is like you're
Jimmy
getting
Sexton,
in that
baby. Jimmy Sexton.
Isn't it like $50 or $60 million buyout?
It's crazy.
There's no way there's no way an SEC school wants him. They see what he is. He is the epitome of winning the games you're supposed to. He wins what he should win. What?
Tell me Florida wouldn't take him?
I don't.
Franklin? No, they won't take him.
They got better. They're gonna hire Signetti, which brings me to the. We had like 3 comments in a row asking us if we thought. So I want to talk about that. Do you think that he, how long does it take a big program? Somebody said Florida State. There's going to be some good jobs out there.
Oh yeah.
I think even a guy who, like you say, doesn't have a connection to a school. I still think it's tough for any guy with principles to leave after 1 year. I think that's tough.
Yeah.
But let's say you take IU to the Big Ten title game, which is looking more and more possible, in the college football playoff, and you go, what 11-1, let's say. There is no way you're ever going to top that. There's no way you're going to top it.
So if you're a 60-something-year-old coach, do you take being royalty at Indiana, or do you say, let me try?
He won't be royalty because he's nowhere to go but down, Aneesh. He's going to eventually.
I mean, but do you take one more swing at the SEC, or something?
Hell yes, if you're him.
Like if North Carolina opens up, that's a big job. But... It's not, but it's a big gig.
I don't know. Is that better than IU? I guess.
Oh yeah, way better.
Who, Florida State?
No. He said North Carolina.
North Carolina.
It's not the SEC though. So I don't know.
But it's an easier path to the playoff.
That's true. I think there's a good chance that Florida State. Actually, Florida started to win a few games. I don't think Napier's going anywhere. But
and the university has no money or is in complete shambles.
I'm not sure that job's going to open, but let's say it did. Florida State are pretty attractive. North Carolina is pretty attractive. There might be some jobs out there. There might be other SEC jobs open, right?
To me, he's he's from Pittsburgh, so he's a general Appalachian man. And so I would say North Carolina North Carolina is actually like a really, really good.
He's going to, so the question is, how long does it take a big program to buy out Signetti? He's going to get lots of calls.
Offers.
Let's put it that way. Yeah, he's going to get, and his agent is going to get, what will it take for you to bring that staff?
Mr. Carter. Hey, so do you think IU, this is the funny thing, because IU's done this like 15 times, and this is the first time it's actually worthy of them doing it. This is the interesting thing. They've oversigned, right? They've re-signed coaches too quickly, right? We've seen it over.
Allen got that.
Right.
After the pandemic year. Yeah.
And so now they really need to do it. They need to build a hedgerow of something that'll make another team at least think twice, right? Make the buyout bigger and make the contract longer, right? They're still going to come after him, but they need to do it so they get some of that money back so they can recoup, right?
Yeah.
They need to do it this week. And I haven't heard even a whisper of it.
And let's do this because we're spending more time on IU than we are on the actual Purdue thing, like for a reason.
Deservedly.
There are still, again, many of you, we love everybody who is watching this. Many of you who are saying that IU is smoke and mirrors or they haven't played anybody or any of this. Yeah, that's insanity. Really have you watched them? Like, they are good team.
Let's even I love debate club where it's like, here's what I will stipulate that maybe their schedule isn't as tough as some other ones. That doesn't matter. You're beating the ever living shit out of everybody and you're 9-0. So it doesn't matter. I mean, we've seen some teams over the years that played really weak,
The national champion last year, like Michigan last year, played just about the same schedule as IU did, and they blew everybody out.
Yeah, but it didn't feel like
they weren't as convincing as IU is.
It was a defensive blowout as opposed to IU's blowing the doors off of them offensively.
How about this, Aneesh? Because if you go by that, like one thing Michigan did is they kind of wore teams down and they didn't play aggressive offense. They let the game come to them,
right?
And then eventually they break off a run.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what IU's doing is a little different. They're wearing teams down and then kicking them in the nuts. And when that team falls down, then they kick their teeth in. You can say whatever you want about the early schedule being weak. Watch a damn game. Watch what they do in the third and fourth quarter. I've been saying this ad nauseum, guys.
You said this from the first couple games. Yep.
They're so good at the end of a game. They are so good, and they don't leave any doubt. And that's why they're going to beat Purdue by 56. And many people will finally get the message that Walters isn't the guy.
No, but I think, Signetti is the kind of person that he is running the score up.
He definitely will.
He is running the score up, and
IU fans are, and for that reason, he's going to be a hero.
It was 2008, and I am still holding on to that win. When in Joe Tiller's last game, it was 62-10, and Purdue kept running the score up and up and up and up and up. It's perfect.
And that was a bad Purdue team.
It was mediocre, and that IU team was bad. It was two bad teams clubbing each other, and it was great. And that is exactly the revenge of Joe Tiller's last game. Is happening.
And this is another one you were just saying to the people who are like trying to act like this doesn't, it's soft and that. I will also say, don't get mad when they run it up on Purdue. I mean, you can get mad at Purdue if you want. But I would say
you should get mad at Purdue.
But the people who get all haughty when are pissy when a team in a bowl game. I remember when Oklahoma State ran it up on Purdue and when Auburn did. I was like, then stop them. That's always been my answer to this. If you're not doing anything filthy and you're putting in your backups, then I don't give a and IU does not need to put in their backups. They have got many years of frustration to get out.
Well, I think the thing that makes people really mad, right? And this didn't happen in either Purdue's bowl shellackings that we're talking about. But when you do what Burt did against IU, and we've all talked about that,
you're throwing
you're onside kick or going for two or whatever it is, and you're up by 4 touchdowns. That stuff's bush league, right? If you're running draws on a team can't stop you, or you're doing little dump passes and they break off for a 60-yard touchdown, what the hell, man? It's football.
Same thing. I don't even I think Signetti is going to launch it deep against Purdue, being up 3-4 touchdowns. That's fine. Cover them. It's football. It's
Stop
fine.
Them. Hit a guy. Right. Take a penalty. Do something. Do something. Pride. Yeah. Maybe they will. Maybe they will, guys. We're not there yet.
It does make it worse. I don't know. I don't think it affects the outlook on Walter's job, but it does make us feel worse. This coming after the Braum era, where there was so much fun that was had.
You're so close to both programs being good. You were so close. You were a couple of years away from both programs being really good. Imagine bucket games where both teams have.
We missed it by 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years ago, Purdue's in the Big Ten title game. If you imagine you've got a Purdue team with 8 wins against an IU team with 9 or 10 wins, that'd be fun, man.
Awesome.
I like them losing too, but I also like the fact, the years where you're watching a cold November crappy game and they both have 3 wins, man, that's not that fun. It's really not.
No, so we've all done it and act like it's.
We've all done it.
Hey, pull up Handel's comment there about IU can't kill us. Someone.
IU can't kill us. We're already dead. Handel says. So here's what I think is going to happen, guys. I'm just going to put this out there. We don't make these predictions. I think that word will come out that will be Hazel's. Oof. That will be Walter.
You know how many times?
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
that was not on purpose.
I did it too.
That'll be Walter's last
Harold and Hazel happen, but I don't. Yeah, that's.
I think that'll come out before it that it's his last game, and maybe they show some fight. I don't know. Nothing has caused them to yet, really, except for second halves a couple times. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that enough on football?
I think it's enough. That's good. We did great. You guys are champions.
That's ridiculous. Hey, basketball's cool.
Hey,
awesome.
I would like to.
Hey,
do you think the moon's really made of green cheese?
Cheese.
So I would just like to say, good on you guys, because Purdue basketball, Purdue Athletics is clearly listening. Thank you, Purdue Athletics, for hearing Boiled Sports on the banner. Hygiene, because you may recall, Aneesh, the thing Aneesh hates the most in the world is
that's right. The thing that's most, it's the worst thing in the world.
You remember that?
Number one, I do. I that's one of the best quotes ever.
Pediatric cancer.
Exactly.
You and I were like,
number 3, world hunger.
World hunger. Number 4, World War. But yes,
they fixed number 1, so I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Right,
so
now we can
move on to that less important issue.
Although Michael is still bothered by the massive 1932 national champs banner.
I love it. I wish they'd make it bigger just to piss Michael off more.
Like make the court the 1932.
Exactly. Yeah, but 1932 and that's great.
Just plaster it over.
I want to get him a shirt with it on there.
Like you come in the door and it's got like a big sticky, that type of graphic too. So he gets like smacked in the face.
Yeah. So they put the banner up. For those that didn't see it, it says 2024 Final Four, and then there's a little row that says National Finalist. And then they altered the 1969 one that previously did not say that, and now it says National Finalist. So one can only deduce that they've been listening to the show, because why wouldn't they be?
Exactly. Mike Babinski, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, Mike? I dressed him as Mike during my little quick cast, by the way.
There you go. It's fine because you guys are close.
We're close.
It looks great. I mean, like all of the banners now match. Like all of them,
they're black.
The black, like with the gold stripes.
Clean.
Or gold
they look
font.
Nice. I like them. Let's add some more. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that'll. So let's focus on this year because we saw the new lineup. We saw the at least
new lineup.
4 freshmen. Come in.
Were there 4 freshmen at one time? Is that what you were?
Not at one time, but I think in some succession, there were. So I think we did get Burgess minutes.
Hey, before we get too deep in this into like smart analysis, can I give a real dumb thing?
Yeah,
please.
Okay, it'll be fast. It's a public service announcement from Boiled Sports, from your friend Boiled Sports. Hey guys, let's talk, just you and I. Zach Edey's gone, and so the team's going to be a little different. Okay, we're in a new era. We've just lost the best player in program history. There's going to be a little bit of growing pains. Okay, so don't go thinking that this is the exact same team. That's all I'm asking for.
Don't go.
Just a little bit of grace on this team. Just a little. Am I asking too much?
No, but I think that if you weren't brought back to reality watching some of the defense, I was like, woo, not having any in there playing defense, man, I knew it was going to be different. But
I really do think that Purdue has a bench lineup that could beat half of the Big Ten. Purdue's bench lineup can beat half of the Big Ten.
When you and I were there watching that scrimmage, we were like, there's 2 really good teams on this.
You roster. Can tell. So, we were saying, you can tell in spring, like in football and spring scrimmage games or in basketball, you can tell when it's just 2 bad teams, like 2 bad units playing against each other.
Right.
This was like, oh my, like these are good teams. Now, the difference is that last year was an experienced team that brought back everybody, including the National Player of the Year, that was in Terminator mode. So it's like just the level of it just makes you appreciate the level of execution and just like
consistency, ruthlessness.
That last year, like precision, everything last year was so good. And this year, there are going to be ups and downs, and it is what it is. And there's a lot of minutes going to freshmen. When you put the depth chart, I sent that to you guys. When you put the depth chart to it, the 12-man, it like you can see that. Wow, we brought back a lot, but there are a lot of minutes going to newcomers.
Can I ask you guys what were your favorite thing you saw in tonight's game? It's just one game, but sure, we should judge the whole future season by it. Right. I think it's the wise thing.
That's the rational thing to do. Yeah.
Rational.
I have a clear answer if you want to think, J Money.
Sure, go ahead.
Daniel Jacobson is
got a little.
How does he do this? How does Paint do this every year? At Brantley, how do they do this every year?
He's going to get so much better, though.
He's going to be so. Yeah, this is just getting started.
Going to be
so raw.
He's a reclassification. I didn't know that until tonight.
I didn't know that.
So he's young, man. Like he was
a volleyball player. You mean?
He looks like J Money Jr.
Yeah, he's a
fencer.
Yeah, exactly. He's young. He's going to bulk up even if he bulks up just a bit. He doesn't have to do much.
It'd be hard to be any skinnier. He looks like he's inside like a flowy uniform, like they couldn't find.
Right. It looks like his uniform could fall off of him.
Right.
But like his instincts, his shot blocking instincts, his
feet are amazing.
Oh, that's it. Exactly. His footwork. He already looks like sophomore year, like the beginning of sophomore year.
Wow, you are excited.
Footwork. Like, oh, it's so good.
He's got like a 7th grader head though on a tall body.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
he's like 3 7th graders standing on their shoulders.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Yeah, he's like that bit where everybody gets in trench coat.
It's like a little kid on top.
Exactly.
But it's, I mean, like, I wasn't convinced that Paint would go with him. I actually did think that Heidi, like he would put TKR at the center and start Heidi and start with the
Speaking of Heidi, what is going on, man?
He's not looking for a shot.
He's got 10 minutes tonight, no scoring. Like,
but he had a shot wide open 3 in the corner. He got it right in rhythm, and he didn't even turn to fire.
Well, he was over.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on there.
Yeah, it feels like he's in Paint's doghouse, or he's losing minutes to the new guys. I mean, that's what's happening, isn't it?
It's been a little bit stunning that there has been zero, but there's been a buzz about a lot of people getting potential starting minutes. It's stunning that kind of he isn't, to me, penciled into the starting lineup. That's like in the offseason, I was penciling him in. I was penciling in TKR at the 5, and then first at the 4, and then like a freshman.
I'll tell you another thing that surprises me is Colvin had the 55th most minutes tonight. Like, I think everybody thought he was either going to be a starter or a heavy rotational guy, and he had a great night. But
I think so. What I think you're seeing right now, again, we talked about this. Yeah. We talked about Painter's going to mess around with this.
Yes.
But one thing you saw is that Colvin is getting important minutes, and he's producing important outcomes. Right? He's doing the right thing. He's looking for his shot every time. By the way, he had 1 3 that he hit where he caught it, and the defense was in between his arm and his face, and he hit it. And I was like,
"Oh, he's a shooter, man.
He is a shooter, and his shot is so smooth."
How many times did he do that last year, where he'd come in cold,
right,
and bang 2 threes, and you're like,
right? But his defense is good now. Like, that's the thing; he's not a liability on defense. That's
remember what he looked like at the start of last year.
I think. Well, let's see this against Alabama and some of these other teams. Like, I want to see this. But I
So here, let's think about that. Tonight we saw Texas Cocoa Krispies is what I like to call them, and Greg called me on that. So Texas Cocoa Krispies moves pretty quick. They play really good passing lane defense. They play very fast. And the good thing is Alabama on November 15th doesn't play fast or good.
Slow, athletic, unathletic.
Yeah.
Pasta.
Young.
Mm-hmm.
They're freaking. I'm watching Alabama in the bottom corner. They move so damn fast.
Yeah.
They're so skilled. They're so athletic. Everybody on the team because they've been around.
What are they ranked preseason? Are they 5? What are they?
2.
2. Okay.
Yeah. They were 1 in 1 poll, and they're 2 in.
They're
but this game is played at Mackey, and it's in Paint-Vember.
Paint-Vember. There you go.
This is where Jay, do you care to revise your pre-con prediction?
No, I don't think I made a prediction.
I think you did. I thought you did.
I think you did too.
Thank you, Aneesh. Thank you.
Like, I got your back. Yeah.
Okay. He doesn't even know
what you're talking about.
If he gets a chance to side against me, he'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. That was great. No. I thought you said there was a really good chance of them going undefeated in this break.
I think you said they were going to lose multiple games.
I did, and I will stick
I
by
think
that.
I think I said I don't know that I'd go that far.
Okay.
I think Alabama is going to be the toughest test, but after that, I don't think it's that much of. It's not a gauntlet like the last couple years.
Dude, there's some teams. There's some teams in this. It's a gauntlet. It's not like the last 2 years, which but it is like 3 years ago. It's similar to 3 years ago.
Weren't they winning all their games then too?
Yes.
They haven't lost a non-conference
yes.
game in like 4 years or something.
I'm still looking.
It's hard.
Zach Edey is not coming through that door. I just checked.
I mean, it'd have to be.
I just checked. Nor is an old Travion Williams. He's not there either. And like we said, behind the curtain, we're like, holy moly, the bigs need work.
Oh, yeah.
And that is going to take time. That's just going to take time.
Had another good game, though. You were talking about him needing work, but he had 15 points. He had 9 rebounds.
He had a good second half. He did not have a good first half. He was getting pushed around a bit, which surprised me. And part of the problem, let's be real honest, why he had a really good – he did what a good player does. He saw the mismatch at the end after those guys started falling like flies due to fouling out.
Mm-hmm. They ran out of bodies, yeah.
They ran out of bodies. And Purdue really exploited that. That's why Purdue blew them out, because that was not a blowout in the second half.
They only were 1 point difference in the second half.
The non-conference schedule going forward. Corpus Christi, Northern Kentucky, Yale, and then Bama.
Yale's not going to be a joke, honestly.
Yale isn't going to be a joke. No, they've got a good coach too. Who?
Well, you know what though? Yale lost their best player to Michigan. He's a 7-footer and he runs the court like a damn deer. And he's not on Yale now. So that's a good thing for Purdue.
So it's Yale, Bama, Marquette, and then Marshall. That's not easy.
No.
Marquette is at Milwaukee. It's the annual Marquette game. Purdue cannot go a year without playing Marquette.
It's like remember when they're caught in that cycle with Clemson? They kept playing Clemson. Feels like that same damn thing.
Or Tennessee in the tournament every year.
But that San Diego field is pretty good too. So you have one or two more.
You've got the Rady Children's Invitational. You've got North Carolina State, and then either you've got BYU or Ole Miss. And BYU,
loaded with talent.
They are. BYU might have, at least in basketball, the best NIL collective, which is stunning.
There's one more difficult game, right?
I think that
is the Indy game. Did you mention that one?
I don't.
A&M,
because it's A&M. Yep, A&M and then Auburn. A&M and Auburn. Right.
Hey, how do you feel now?
Those are teams.
It's the thing. Bruce Pearl teams are nasty, dude.
I like Purdue basketball. I don't care what you say. You can predict losses all you want.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm here for my boys. You had asked a question, Aneesh, at the beginning about.
I say multiple losses. I'll stick by my prediction. You can stick by yours.
Multiple losses. I think is.
I'm not bailing on them. I just think they're going to lose a couple games. I'm not bailing.
Which is fine. Bailing. Good. Put some hair in your chest. So you had asked about. I forget what the question was about. What stood out or whatever the question was about tonight's game, and Aneesh brought up Jacobson. I had already brought up Colvin and saying I thought that was exciting to see, but this is not necessarily the most exciting answer. But Fletch Lawyer going out there and scoring 21,
creating
and driving a little bit, and I was like
quiet. I looked down with about 5 minutes left, and I was just kind of looking at the stat sheet.
I was like, wow, okay, if that's who he's going to be. Which again, just like we said before, let's see them play some better opponents and see how this goes. But it makes sense, right? That as a junior, he would start to, evolve as a player a little bit more and add a little bit to his game. So,
and he was at the end of last year, he was finishing at the rim so much better than I ever thought that he could. Taking contact and getting to it. And
but he still had a lot of games last year where he kind of vanished a lot.
Wilted, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like 2-point games and stuff. You can't have that. He has got to be a 15-point a night guy at least, don't you think?
What he finished with? He finished with 19?
21.
Okay.
That's what you need.
Meanwhile, Braden puts up his first double-double of the season.
And was closing in on a triple-double, man.
And he played an absolutely horrible game for about.
By the way, he's going to absolutely get a triple-double this year. That is going to happen.
Oh, yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't really looking for a shot either. Again, that's one of those games where
he's going to do a triple-double before Thanksgiving.
Whoa!
Oh, I like.
Yeah, there's
sound that siren, the prediction siren.
It could get this take could get really, really hot if he wants to pick a game.
There you go.
That's what I want. That's what I want. I want him to say it.
Let's pull up Yale. Why not Yale?
Yale. Holy
Triple-double
shit! Like a
versus
week,
Yale.
he wants this to happen.
Yep.
Okay, so here's why I think Aneesh
like
could be right about the quickness of when the triple-double happens. Because, so like we saw this last year, boys and girls, when Edey was on there glossing over a lot of the problems, when Purdue turned the ball over a lot, they looked bad at times, right? They looked, let me reframe that. They looked mediocre or human when they turned over the ball a lot. Well, tonight they turn over the ball a ton, right? This is the same Achilles heel this team is going to have because there's some interesting things that happen. Number one, Painter's figured out some cool formula stuff from his analytics, and Aneesh eats this stuff up. But one thing he's found is if you foul less, you put teams in the position, they start fouling more. And guess what happens? It starts tipping the scale in your favor, especially towards the end of the game. But the other thing I think Painter said, efficiency, don't turn the ball over. These are also just analytic basics, right? When Purdue turns the ball over a lot, they're going to struggle this year. But when they don't, here's the thing. We saw when they're scoring in bunches, right? Now, if they can get that turnover bug fixed in relatively short time, they're going to go through teams, pretty heartily. Like they'll beat the hell out of teams because look what they're doing. Let's look at the data set. And I know it's not official yet because they're exhibition games, but the amount of points this team scores is noteworthy, right? They are scoring in bunches. They may be relying a bit too much on the three right now until those bigs come along, or at least one differentiates himself. It looks like it might be Jacobson. I think it's too early to say, but Paint wants that to happen clearly.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some cool stuff that's going to happen. I think Purdue needs to clean up a lot. There's plenty of cool stuff for the coaches to say, hey guys, you suck. You need to get better.
And it's this will be such a fun year because it's like the year after, the year after the Super Seniors year where it was, Carson's team, right? And that ended up being the team that did the first breakthrough to the Elite Eight, right? Like this year, it's going to be a lot of experimentation. It's going to be a lot, it's going to be much less certain. I mean, last year they played with the same starting lineup every single game. So this year, before Thanksgiving, we may see a different starting lineup. Jakari Harris, by the way, oh my gosh, I love.
There's the guy. So
Harris,
so your guy, if you're saying your early freshman favorite guy is
as
Jacobson.
Of right now, it's Jacobson. But
so it's funny. I got texts during the game. Friends saying, dude, Jacobson's incredible, right? I got another one saying, oh my gosh, Cox is going to be such a Purdue fan favorite. That defense, man, he's a bulldog. And people saying, man, Harris attacks. This is fun, right? And I think as an outsider, you got to say, damn it, Purdue's reloading.
Again, it's those three. I mean, but you can absolutely see 3 years from now, those three will be the core of the team.
Yeah.
And I mean, like it'll be a version, it's not going to be Lawyer, Smith, and Edey, but it's going to be a version of that. Mm-hmm. And it's like it's got to be frustrating knowing that is just trust Painter. Just trust Painter. That's the big lesson that we've learned.
If he didn't buy you some trust.
I love it. I love it. CJ Cox was awesome. Raleigh Burgess not getting the red shirt is surprising until I put the depth chart together, and then I was like, yeah, we kind of need him. And he looked all right.
You're gonna need that guy coming off the bench. Here's the other surprise, by the way. Speaking of Burgess getting the minutes and burning the shirt, okay. I'm stunned that First only got 2-3 minutes of game time. I'm stunned at that because when he came in, he was such a settling, like he just settled everybody down, did his job, grabbed a board, get a layup, whatever, nice and easy. Just what I thought First would be. But man, he didn't get any playing time.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's kind of stunning to me that he wasn't ever in the conversation for the starting role. But
yeah, and I thought he would be. I was wrong, so I'll eat the crow there.
If I was on last week, that would have been my prediction. Like I would have been like, he's going to do. That's why I was surprised. In the pregame, like I was, that's why I was surprised Jacobson got the start. I thought Paint was just going to go back to the, to the experience. But I mean, Jacobson is. It seems like he wants to have TKR and First, out there, but First he didn't get too much, and he got playing time with TKR, so that was interesting. But it seems like he really wants that 7-footer or that clear center.
His ability to block shots, guys. I mean, like
and the other part of this is rebound. for as skinny as he is, as
he had a really tough
gravity,
rebound with a guy trying to body him in the second half.
That's the impressive part to me, which tells me, I mean, his footwork and his rebounding tells me that, like,
how much must he be working hard though in practice to be starting? Like, I know he's talented. I know that Painter likes having a 7-footer in there, but it's not automatic.
And Paint doesn't trust like that. I mean,
right. Maybe Paint's evolving.
I mean,
Paint is
all
evolving.
Of these players. Oh yeah, all of these players are pushing him.
Plus, this is what we've talked about. He's figuring things out. This isn't necessarily this isn't going to be last year where you have the same starting 5 for 38 games. No. That's not going to happen. There's going to be a different starting 5, maybe next game.
How about this question? Would if you guys had a vote, because
Zach Edey started on this team? Is that what we're going to say?
Zach Edey, by the way, apparently is having a 21-10 game right now. Like,
maybe he's
for
good.
real.
What do you guys think,
dude? I thought he was washed because he had that one kind of mediocre game last week. I
love him so much, man. I think about Zach Edey.
I love the internet like ruling him worthless after one game that he scored 9 points or something.
I don't care. He's going to win Rookie of the Year. He's going to have a 15-year NBA career. It's going to be amazing. Yeah. It's going to be so incredible. Good. He's going to win 2 national titles. He's going to be a national finalist in college, and he's going to win a title. Oh, I'm already going there. An NBA title.
You know what? NBA. Okay, I was going to say, wait. We can't get in our time machine.
The Berg was the other one. He's the one that we haven't talked about yet. Again, wishing that Berg was a little bit further along. But
I think first. I'll be real honest. I think first looks better than Berg. Just in
the no doubt.
And I maybe Painter's just trying to say, hey, I owe him a look, and it might be it.
Absolutely.
And Berg is going to serve a purpose. That's not that I'm ruling him out. Man, first can do a lot of things.
He should have more leash than that. Yeah, for sure. I could see the reason Harris starting over Colvin, I think, is the one being like, you want that microwave scorer off the bench. Like, basically you want to stagger Lawyer and Colvin, which makes sense to me. Like, in a similar way, I think you want to stagger TKR and First, and so that's why I think the bench role makes sense. But if you want to say who is the one out of the starting lineup that is most likely to be, like, that's the first adjustment, I think Harris for Colvin is what I would think, because
so you would put him into the starting lineup.
I think that is an adjustment that I could see Painter doing. I could also see him messing with the front court and doing either something like First and TKR or something like that. But again, Jacobson has been really good. But the defense, Colvin's defense, looks like he's expending more effort on defense, right? Whereas before it just did not. It was a complete afterthought.
Well, not only is he expending, he's not only expending more effort, but he's efficiently doing it, right? It's not like he's just running around looking out of position.
He's like in good position. That's good.
He's in real good position. Yeah. And so, like, man, it's tough for me right now to not say, give me the next game. Let's move Harris out of the way just for one. Let's see.
Seeing all the players, seeing as many players get the minutes. Hey, it seems like Matt Painter might know what he's doing. It seems like this is the right starting lineup, at least as of right now. So I don't anticipate it changing soon, but I give it a 2-game slump from the inevitable freshman 2-game slump from one of the freshmen. And, we'll see. We'll probably see someone new there. But, I think we have 3 entrenched starters, and then who surrounds them is going to be different, but I don't know. It'll be fun. After last year, just the burden that was on, the weight that was on every single game.
Yeah.
And then somehow they, like, Zach Edey pulls through on everything. Braden Smith pushes through and achieves like everything that they were looking to achieve last year, except for, like 25 minutes away from truly everything they were looking to achieve. This year, it's going to be a different level of fun, where it's like, if Purdue loses a handful of non-conference games, not the biggest deal in the world. I do think Purdue is still going to be at the top of the Big Ten, because I don't think the Big Ten is very good this year.
If you want to, do you buy into you look at Michigan's lineup? I didn't know that Rodney Gale, is Rodney Gale? Is that his name, for the guy from Ohio State? It transferred to Michigan.
Yeah.
That's some weird. That's very weird. And they got Vlad, what's his nuts from down south.
FAU,
who's up there. And then they've got the Yale 7-footer there. They've got some dudes.
We'll see how.
And I didn't really think Michigan would be that deep right away.
Dusty's a good coach. He's we'll see how.
It still feels like a weird fit to me.
It's a strange fit. I mean, like the IU Louisville probably would have made more sense. Michigan is a little strange.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you one thing that I loved. I wanted to tell you guys about this. There's one play that I thought was like my favorite play of the night, and I liked some of Colin's bombing and Jacobson blocking shots. But there's one play where Smith came down the right side, and they brought up a double team, and he kind of threw the ball through the double team over to the top of the key where TKR was waiting, and TKR hit the three.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I was like, that was freaking new look stuff. That was fun.
The lefty three from the top of the key, that is nice.
It was fun. That to me, that's a totally different wrinkle. It's a new thing we're going to see a lot this year. And
then meanwhile, the end of the half block at the rim from Jacobson going directly into the Colvin dunk. It's just like, again, the expectations aren't going to be nearly as high, this year, which will allow them to, I think, to play with a certain level of freedom where after a season like last year, that is how these players grow, right? Yeah, it's not necessarily just in the pressure cooker. It's the ability to be a little bit creative. I want to see Miles Colvin. Like what I will be watching for this year is Miles, outside of the 3 stars and the freshmen. Like I want to see Miles Colvin take that leap. And I think that this style really plays well to his strengths.
Can I not completely off topic,
yes,
but
please.
I brought up the Memphis box score. It's 7 seconds to go. They're down 2, but Edey in 29 minutes is 11 of 12 from the floor.
Oh,
one of 1 from 3, has 25 points, 12 rebounds.
What's his plus minus? I mean, that's all I care about.
+5.
Deep in.
Best on the team.
He's a winner, man.
Best on the team. Jaws is
good thing the refs are in his back pocket.
I know
he gets tall.
He's a free throw merchant.
Right.
He's shot tonight 4 free throws. Just FYI.
Edey and Ja, that high pick and roll to the
all night. Ja looks like he's having fun with it.
Oh yeah, he's like giggling because he can't believe that there's a guy that open every time that can score that easily. I mean, I love it.
And there was the connection.
They haven't even figured it out yet either.
No,
there was the connection with Ja to Ivy's family to Purdue, right? And so like that probably was a part of the whole calculus.
By the way, did you know Scottie Pippen Jr. is on that team?
Yeah, man. It's wild.
Yeah.
Scottie
it's a really cool roster. Like it's fun.
Yeah, Memphis is.
I think they got the type of roster that NBA fans are just gonna.
This is I was gonna say this is Aneesh's. What's it called? What's the NBA full court pass? Whatever it's called.
Oh, League Pass.
League Pass.
This is the League Pass.
This is the League Pass game.
I mean, like
team. This and the Spurs. You're gonna watch. You're gonna watch the hell out of the Spurs.
I'm watching the Alien. Yes, but
like, Wemby and Chris Paul.
But like Ja and Edey, are you kidding me?
Please move to Memphis now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Ed Albanese brings up a good point. There's that guy from Japan too. It's like a huge fan favorite. I'm like, there's so many fun stories on this roster.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool one, and after Memphis's last year, which was like a disaster, it's going to be fun to watch them kind of rebound from it. So
I think it's wild about Memphis's rosters this year is if Ja say gets in trouble, he finds a handgun laying around, just carries it in a club, whatever. Okay, so I mean, if he gets into trouble again, they still have all these dudes that can step up and score. It's so much different than last year.
Yeah, it's a deep roster, which is great. Last year they had a bunch of spare parts, and so I think Edey landed in the perfect spot. He's going to win a lot, and he's going to get a lot of time to contribute. He's got a perfect 4 beside him in Jaren Jackson. Like I think that is
a perfect 4, Aneesh.
Perfect. Hey, thanks, man. 4 out of 3, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
better than the scale.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, if you're hungry and you're on campus, where do you go?
The fire station.
Yeah, head to the fire station.
That's it. The fire station, they usually have fish fries and stuff. But when I go to the fire station, something smells delightful across the street.
Hell yeah. AJ's.
Welcome to the lights. gosh. And then Adam will be there, welcome you at the door with a hug.
Their service is fantastic.
Just an apron. I mean, sorry.
J Money had the gall to ask me if we wanted an appetizer the last time that we went together, and I was like, "Are we not getting mac and cheese bites? What's going on here?
Yeah,
like,
what's happening? Doing? What are you doing?
Why?
What in the world?
Mac and cheese bites for the table. Yes.
Don't ask stupid questions.
That's my middle name.
But see, if you say that, though, it's almost like you're saying you don't want pretzels.
Oh, listen, this is like that tweet where it's like, I like pancakes, and then someone replies and says, "You hate waffles. How dare you?"
Exactly.
That's a whole different sentence.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Just settle down, everybody.
Yes. It's so good. Shout out to AJ's. Shout out to Home Field Apparel. I'm wearing the Block P shirt right now. This is a brand new purchase.
Ooh.
Just broke it out last week for the first time. Oh, it's so soft.
Is it the long sleeve or the short sleeve?
No, it's the short. I got the guns out.
Right.
The half a gun that's out there. I got my
starter's
arms
pistol.
Out. I got my forearms out. Yeah, exactly. I love the Block P, the true Block P.
It's a good Block P. Yeah.
And in Pittsburgh, you can kind of get away with it. People not really, thinking it could be one of the other teams.
By the way, that shirt you're wearing also provides a purpose. If you wear it to a crowded Purdue game, that maybe the crowd starts clearing out and you stick around because you're a glutton for punishment. And your pal Boiler Butter takes a picture of your section as he's walking out of the stadium, and everybody's gone except for you. That Block P is so easy to see. He took this picture of me last year, and I went back and I found it in a DM thread. And it's hilarious. I'm so pissed off, clearly angry in the middle of the stands, but I can see that beautiful Block P. So if you don't want to get attention from all admirers, don't wear Home Field Apparel stuff.
I think it may have been your height. I think
I do stick out in the crowd. It's true. So
you stick out, but for the voice reasons. I tell you, J Money is the most anonymous of the three of us.
No doubt.
But it's always.
I wish I had that because I mean, every place
you can't go anywhere.
Can't go anywhere.
Well, it's like traveling with Aneesh. It's like being with the Beatles.
Exactly.
It's just
60-year-old women fainting at his feet.
Yeah, people spot him. People spot him, and he was politely when we were there for Oregon. He said, "I think it's when they see the two of us." I'm like, "Oh, that's so nice of you to throw me a bone." He wanted me to feel included.
You guys got the voice. I just got the.
Yeah, when people hear me talk, they usually know who I am, but they don't. Yes. They don't. But they spot you. Ed Albanese says, "I still can't believe J Money went to FDU." Well, I didn't. I mean,
he didn't know then. I mean,
right? I would never have set foot on that campus.
Happen, bastard.
Oh, Jason Ron said, "See, Jason knows how to get at me." He says, "I bet J Money celebrated when Nebraska fell Saturday." Look, I said on the post game, and that might have been what got cut off. But I said down there, what I said to you guys is, excuse me, they are now 0 and what did I say? 0-6.
I think
7.
Yeah.
7 maybe now.
It's 7
because they've lost 2 this year and they lost their last 5.
Yes,
whatever. Yeah. When they have a chance to clinch a bowl under Matt Rule, and
that is an amazing factoid.
But now it's going to get harder. UCLA was their best, their surely worst opponent left. Because they've got USC
by a lot,
Wisconsin, and Iowa left. Now, they could beat any one of them for sure. Yeah. But doesn't it feel like it's kind of it's getting some momentum? Like maybe IU broke them.
Feels like it.
They don't feel right since that happened. Oh boy. And you know what else? I didn't think Nebraska was about 6 wins and going to bowls. I didn't think that was their goal.
But it now feels like they're just trying to scratch and claw their way to just 6, right? That's it.
Now you want to just go 500, which man.
Hey, Chris says handsome election hour tomorrow.
Absolutely. We'll be on at 9. We will break it all down.
We can't wait. We were all talking about before we got on the air how much we've been enjoying political commercials and rallies.
I wish this could go on for another few months.
So phone calls and text messages. I've loved the whole thing. It's been so much fun.
I'm going to start texting the BS group chat like these messages.
Exactly.
So I'm going to tell you guys something, and I'm not going to tell you any specifics. One of us likes one candidate. One of us likes another candidate, and the third really likes neither candidate. Is that fair? Am I being fair?
I don't know. Are you?
But they're going to have to figure out who it is.
Yeah.
That's the fun thing. We would be a fun political panel. But no way in hell No way. Not stepping into that.
We'll be fine.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be a great day tomorrow, guys.
They said they're not looking forward to the OSU game, Ed says.
Why?
No kidding, Ed.
Is anything going to happen?
Is there a reason we didn't mention it, Ed? Do you think?
Big if true.
We were going to go to the game.
Guys,
J Money and I had a...
Well, Dad was he was tentatively in when the season started. He said, "Let me see how the season starts." And after Notre Dame, he went, "I'm not going.
I was out. I'm out." Yeah, but the funny thing is, Jay knew exactly how I'd react. He told Aneesh how I'd react to the idea. It wasn't an invitation. It was just like floating a balloon up there. That's what you guys were doing first.
I said we got to ask him, but I know what he's going to say.
I know what he's going to say.
We do. But it's like, you got to play. You got to, like even in long-term
I thought
relationships,
if it was last year's season.
Exactly.
If it was last year's season.
Things fresh, Aneesh.
I probably would have gone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you were like, you never know. This has been fun.
That's why we were basing our
We went to Virginia Tech and saw a win.
That was so awesome. It was such a fun win. Let us keep that in our heart as we go forward into Ohio State, which is basically a bye week. And so
just nobody get any career-ending injuries. Just nobody get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody stay healthy. Go half speed, or we'll be fine.
Oh man!
Just like the Oregon game. Just gotta make it into a glorified scrimmage.
Hey, Ohio State's going to be able to work
Coach Walters, run this defense now, and then we'll just shred that.
You're exactly right. They're going to just work on some stuff. Ohio State's going to be like, what do we need to work on?
Yeah, we'll gladly play along. Just don't hurt us.
Well, we'll just focus on basketball for now. It'll be okay.
We got
another month.
4. Yeah,
4 more games. 5 November games. That's never boded well for Purdue.
3 top 10 teams.
It's fine.
3 top 10 teams.
And we already may have played the best team in the country.
They have, yeah. And Purdue is past the easy part of their schedule, just to put that out there.
Yes. This is
woof.
This is why we all saw the problems as it was happening.
That's it. That really is it, which is why it's just like you had to bank. You had to look competitive. If you don't look competitive against these teams, fine.
You had to bank goodwill, right, Anish?
Exactly.
I mean, my
God.
God.
That really is it. Because it's like, you're telling me that it's fun. Like, you're not going to show out against Penn State and Ohio State, then fine. Like, if it's going to be non-competitive, those are great teams. It is what it is. But, like, a beatable Wisconsin and Nebraska and Northwestern, like, no, that needed to, it's a bummer. Oregon State. That feels like
what's Oregon State's record right now? Does anybody know?
Not great. I think they're
they're mediocre.
They got whipped by somebody.
Yeah, they're not good.
They're okay. Yeah, they're okay. They're a team. They are the team like Purdue should have been this year. They're fine. Exactly.
They're exactly fine.
Yeah,
they're 4-4. And what's hilarious, if you go to ESPN's page, it says first in Pac-12. Which is interesting because they both them and Washington State say 0-0. They must play at the end. Oh, they do play at the end. How about that?
They play multiple
conference record
0-0.
1-0.
No, they're tied. They're tied.
I know. At the end, there can only be one champion.
Champ will be 1-0. Yeah. Washington State's 7-1, by the way. College football is so weird. Washington State's 7-1.
Yep. Wazoo.
It's so weird, man.
Yeah,
it's all so weird.
Who's their head coach? Just out of curiosity.
I'll take him. Coach.
I'll take him. Take him.
Yeah. Sight unseen.
Could he be on the list? Who knows?
Whom can say?
Plenty of time to figure that out.
Are you guys done? You guys had enough?
I think so. It's been fun.
I've had enough.
Yeah. Thanks, AJ. Thanks, Home Field Apparel. Thanks, Aneesh, Jay, and the cast of thousands who are here live along with us, enjoying the warm, glowing glow of Purdue's first win. They're 1-0 on the season in basketball, and who gives a damn what they are in football? I love you guys. Good night.